Hello and welcome to today's Hotspot Hunters video. Today we're looking at an incredible location where one of our clients got a 54% return on capital invested in just 14 months. We're going to give you the full scoop on what makes this location an absolute game changer. Let's start with some numbers so you can see why we picked this location for the first ever property investment of our clients Dane and Leda. We've actually helped this couple secure 5 properties in total, but today we're focusing on their very first purchase. This was a very crucial one because this is the property that set up their entire portfolio. It created the equity that allowed them to buy 4 more properties in a very short span of time, with another one currently in process of settlement. So they bought this first property for $346,000. So that's the purchase price. Of that amount, $105,734 had to be put up in cash. So that was the capital invested. In return, Dane and Leda got a 6% rental yield on the property. That's a very impressive yield that gave them strong initial cash flow. But that's not all. 14 months after purchase, they got a valuation done in March of this year, 2023, and it came in at $403,000. That translates to a total growth of 16.5%, which is amazing. If you think about the fact that a lot of other suburbs stayed flat or didn't grow very much at all during the same time period. One thing that we sometimes hear is the idea that, well, for this time period you could buy anywhere and still make money. And while that isn't strictly true, there is an essence of truth to it. A lot of suburbs in Australia have shown really good growth in the last few years. However, what really sets us apart when it comes to finding hotspots and ideal properties is our track record. At the time of recording this video, we've helped around 1,000 people find properties that have grown, on average, by 16% in the first 12 months, by over 34% in the first 2 years, and more than 65% in the first 3 years. Now that's averaged across more than 180 suburbs in 6 states over the last 5 years. Now that's far, far exceeding what the general market has been able to do. Now back to Dane and Leda's numbers. Their first investment has grown by $57,000 since we purchased it, which means they've gotten a whopping 54.14% return on capital invested. Those are pretty stunning returns to achieve in just a little over a year when, as you know, a lot of places stagnated or even reversed their growth, while our featured hotspot was thriving. Now here's a little bit of trivia you might be interested to know about our clients. Every single property in their portfolio was acquired while Dane and Leda were overseas, traveling on holiday. We thought you should know this in case you were thinking they only achieved what they were able to achieve because they had all the time in the world to be hands-on in their investing. The truth is, we handled all of those purchases for them end to end. You see, Dane and Leda, they just had their first child when we first started working together, and they told us they wanted to secure their little newborn baby's future without compromising their lifestyle of exploring the world together. They realized they needed a way to earn money while discovering new cities with the latest addition to their globetrotting party, their newborn child. And so I'm glad to report that the success of their first property investment has paved the way for their travel and financial goals to turn into reality. So it's almost time to reveal the location, but before I do, here's our Hotspot Hunters special message. And now, back to the video. Okay, time for the great reveal. The location is Mandurah in Western Australia. As you can see from this graph here, this particular suburb has seen fantastic growth over the last 2 years. We were able to get in right at the tail end of 2021 when our forecasts were looking really rosy. These data actually come from our very own AI model, which we've developed to analyse millions and millions of data points relating to property in Australia. From those data points, it determines the key factors that will produce this kind of growth, and now actually it functions as a predictive model. It is an incredibly powerful tool. There is nothing else like it. So the research team, they did an absolutely fantastic job finding this for a great location here. And as you can also see, our model projects some more growth for this suburb. The current median sales price is at $350,101, which is predicted to increase further to between $387,899 and $430,747 over the next 15 months. This projected increase represents a robust median sales price growth forecast of 16.55%. The rents in Mandurah are also on an impressive growth trajectory, as you can see from this chart, with rents expected to increase by almost 8.5%. That's well over the 5% acceptable growth threshold. Dane and Leader definitely got the right property in the right location at the right time. And they also got it right first time. So now let's look a little bit into what specific factors made Mandurah pop up in our analysis as the next big property hotspot. Well, there are two factors that really stand out when it comes to Mandurah. So let's look at these factors one by one. First, there's a substantial population increase in a diversifying economy. This is really, really important. The latest census recorded a 33% increase in Mandurah's population over the last one, going from 7,837 people to 10,426. That's a lot of additional population, and the main industries of employment in the area are healthcare and social assistance, retail trade, and accommodation and food services. These sectors are likely contributing to the suburbs' population growth. As it is, demand is outstripping supply in Mandurah's housing market in a major way. Now, one of the key factors that we analyze at Dashdot is the demand to supply ratio. That's a very special metric that indicates how many people are looking for properties versus how many properties are actually available. A demand to supply ratio, or DSR, of 2 means that there are 2 people looking for every 1 property available, or 2 buyers looking for every 1 property available. Well, in Mandurah, with the demand to supply ratio coming in at 7.34%, as of July 2023, well, that's just a massive difference from the market equilibrium range of 0.75 to 2. Just imagine what will happen once these employment opportunities draw even more residents in the future. Now, on to the next factor that we analysed when it came to assessing Mandurah. As you know, when it comes to property, we always look at infrastructure, and there's a multi-billion-dollar pipeline of projects coming into Mandurah. We're talking over $39 billion worth of infrastructure projects in various stages of development. The bulk of these projects aim to bolster the suburbs' renewable energy production, with $18 billion earmarked for offshore wind farms and its maritime transport capabilities, with $5.1 billion allotted for a new dry dock and port. Mandurah's manufacturing and tech industries are likewise expecting a boost, with $4.7 billion worth of investments going to a new data center and 2 new manufacturing plants for lithium-ion batteries and lithium hydroxide. Overall, these large-scale investments signal confidence in the suburbs' potential for continued growth and sustainability. That said, it might be time for a bit of a disclaimer. Mandurah's magic worked for Dane and Leader because they were able to get in that area at the right time. That means they've already cashed in on the suburbs' initial spectacular boom. And while this location is still due for some more growth, you might be better off starting your investment journey someplace else that's just about to explode. This way, you too could invest in the right property and the right location at the right time. And on that note, it's time for a special message from Goose.
Hi, it's Goose here from Dashdot, and since we're talking about hotspots, there's something extremely important that I need to tell you. I also want to give you a valuable gift too. You see, whenever you hear of someone's property investment crushing it, it's not singularly because they chose a booming suburb. There's more factors than just location that go into investing in a winning property. The cash inflows and outflows matter. The volatility of a suburb matters, and most important, will a particular property in a particular suburb help you reach your end goal? Which is why, on that note, I'd like to offer you an incredibly valuable tool for free. It's called the Apex Report, and you'll get details on how to get it with my compliments, absolutely free, below. Put simply, the Apex Report instantly checks if your next property investment makes financial sense, tells you exactly how much you can afford to spend on the property, gives you an accurate return on investment calculation with the touch of a button, and shows you when and how to maximize the value of your investment. The Apex Report is a proprietary tool that we use to help our clients get an average return on invested capital of over 61% in their first 12 months, which is why if you're thinking of buying an investment property anytime in the future, you must get your hands on this report now. It's yours free for a very limited time, so click the link and get your copy now.
Well, that's everything for this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with more amazing results and high-performing hotspot locations from us here at Hotspot Hunters.